Hey guys, my name is Chris Prefontaine, and I want to talk to you a little bit about how our rent-to-own program works. A couple things. You've got about 82%, as you can see here, of the population that can't get a loan today, roughly speaking, a national average. So you're not alone. I don't want you to feel stuck. A lot of people come to us and say, I feel like I couldn't get myself into a home ever, I gave up hope. You're not alone. 82% of the population, roughly speaking, last time I checked. That could be a number of issues that have come up that cause dings in the credit, as you know. It could have been divorce. It could be self-employed needing just some seasoning with the banks. They call it time is seasoning. Could be foreclosure. Could be bankruptcy. We've dealt with all of these issues, and we've successfully got them into a home. The rent-to-own program that we're talking about is not a straight rent. This is actually setting you up to succeed and setting you up to own a home, and I'll walk you through the process. So some people think rent-to-own, for example, is, okay, I'll go rent and then maybe I'll buy it. This process is a little bit different. As you'll see, we get you pre-screened, we predetermine the dates, as I'll talk about, and then you're going to eventually buy it with our program. There's no doubt about it, because again, we don't put you in the home unless that's predetermined. Here's how it works. So number one, the viewing. You're going to look on our property list or on the website and check out any of the properties you want to see. There's instructions typically of how you're going to get in there, or somebody will speak to you live and get you in the property. Next step, or next issue, occupancy. If the home's occupied, you're usually talking no more than 15 to 45 days to get you in. If the home's not occupied, a lot of them are not, you can have immediate occupancy. Some of these homes are owned by the company that you're looking at the website, and some of them are partnered. So it just depends on the arrangement. In the home, or emailed to you by the representative you speak to, will be a next step form. It's basically 2 pages. It's very simple. It gives us kind of a global view on your situation from an income standpoint, job, current living situation, and a little bit about what you're trying to accomplish for the property, your family size, and then down payment. Okay, so those 2 forms will tell us an awful lot. They tell us a lot, but this next step is important, because after that, if we determine on the phone and after reviewing the next step forms that it's worth what we call a buyer's meeting, we're going to get together. And in that buyer's meeting, we're going to draft a 1-page letter of intent. It's very simple again. It outlines basically the terms in the monthly lease, the purchase amount and deposit, things that we're already discussing. So then we come and we meet face to face. That's an important meeting, and we look at all that together and we finalize it. The forms are then submitted to a pre-screening company. It's not to see if your credit is bad. We already know that it could be, and that's maybe one of your issues that you're coming to us. That's not why we pre-screen. We pre-screen to see what? To see, again, the global view. Given the credit dings, or given the fact you might just want to increase your credit, you might be in the 600s already, and you just want to get it over 700 to get a better rate. So it's not a bad thing when I say credit dings. But this pre-screen is going to tell us that, and most importantly, it's going to tell us when you can be mortgage ready, I call it. Why is that important? Because then those dates are going to have to be filled into your eventual agreement to lease purchase the property. For example, you're talking anywhere between 6 and 24 months usually for the credit repair on average, and that's best and worst. And what happens is, let's say the company calls us back. His name is Paul Ritter. If he calls us back and says, I talked to XYZ buyer and it's going to take us 18 months to get their credit fixed. Well, we're going to write up a lease purchase for 18 months. He's very conservative. He's very humble. You'll see that when you speak with him. The information for that company is probably on the website somewhere here, or you can get it from one of your representatives. So this pre-screen process is important to tell us that A, we can get it done with you, okay, as a team, and B, the dates that are going to go into the lease purchase agreement. On the next step forms that you have up here, you're going to be asked how much deposit you have now and how much you have over time. It is, generally speaking, there's exceptions to every one of the properties, but generally speaking, 3% is required to get in the home of the purchase price, and then up to 10%. Now, why the wide range? Because every property is different, guys. Sometimes we have a property that is in huge demand, and someone calls and says, look, I know you're showing it a lot. I want the property. My family loves it. What's it going to take it off the market? Well, my standard answer is 10%. And out of 35 or so deals per year, I would say we get 5, 6, 8, maybe 10 of those. And that's just up to you. You want to put your best foot forward when you're filling out these next step forms. That's what I tell everyone. I can't tell you what to put on there. I can tell you to just put your best foot forward. Now, here's the other nuance of this. You can sometimes, depending on the home, come in with 3%, and then over time work up to 5, 6, 7, 10, maybe more %. Over time meaning tax refund time, coordinated with job bonuses, different things. We put a state trooper in a home recently and had retroactive pay as he got a promotion. So different ways of getting this up over time. This letter of intent that we do at the buyer's meeting here, that letter of intent, LOI, letter of intent, is then sent off to the attorney, the local attorney, who you will then sit with. They basically take the terms from the letter of intent and they plug that into our standard lease purchase paperwork, which you'll sign off on. It basically reviews everything we just talked about with terms. It reviews the necessity for you being in the credit repair program, etc. You'll sign off on that. You'll take occupancy when the date allows you to. Two things I want to mention. I already mentioned the repair takes 6 to 24 months. This one's a real important one, guys, the price. Way at the beginning I said that rent-owned doesn't equal rent. It's so important if you understand it as a renter, and I know this is probably redundant for you, but if you're out there renting in a market that's finally trending up, you're watching the market go right past you. So a lot of people say to me, well, I'm going to save while I'm renting. You might save money, but meanwhile the market's appreciating faster than you can save, I promise you that. So the rent-to-own does what? It locks in your price. So whether your term is 12 months, which is the minimum, or 7 years, sometimes that price can be locked in that entire time. So here we have a market that, depending on where you are in the country, may be appreciating 3 to 10%. Let's say 3 to 8%. Well, you locked in your price day one. So even if you have a 12 or a 24-month lease, a shorter term, which is pretty standard, you're going to have an equity build-up. Regardless of what you do for extra deposits along the way, you're going to have equity build-up because of the appreciation in the market. That is a major, major facet of our rent-to-own program. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch this. There may be some other questions that this sparked as it answered some. Some of the websites you'll see this on have a buyer Q&A, and some you just have to write down your questions and call the representative. But we appreciate your interest and look forward to working together.